So tonight we're going to be talking about the league-breaking NFL trade, Myles Garrett leaving the Cleveland Browns to head to Los Angeles to join the Rams. The Rams are now the Super Bowl favorites heading into the season, so we're going to talk about that and more. Pat, I'm going to start with you tonight. What are your initial thoughts on Myles Garrett joining the Rams? What do you think about the trade package going back to Cleveland? Was it a good deal or not? What are your thoughts?
You know, I would bet that the Rams were looking to make a splash this offseason, after not delivering the way that they should have last season. And I think it's fair to say that they did make a splash. I mean, this is I know it's the beginning of the offseason, but I think this might be the biggest piece of news we're going to see the entire offseason. It's a great pickup for them, solidifies their D line. I bet they're wishing that they had Aaron Donald right now, because that would just be, I was talking with somebody at work about it. It's like, that might be one of the most dominant defensive lines in football in recent memory if they had both of them. But, you add such a strong defensive player who's been talented for a number of years, and, you're going to be happy about it. I think Jared Verse is a really great player, so it's tough to let him go. But when you have the opportunity to get like a superstar like Myles Garrett, you just have to make that move. So it's exciting to see him, and it's going to be interesting to see how he adapts to that like new atmosphere, new environment, new team. And I thought the package was pretty fair. You give up some picks, you're in win now mode. You've got no reason that you need to go and get a young player in the mix at any of the particular skill positions. You're pretty solid there. So you're comfortable giving up a few picks and hoping that this is the piece that will put you over the top for the future. So the Browns, do I have faith that they're going to do good things with their picks? Not really, but we're going to find out.
Yeah, so to add to that, the Rams gave up their 2027 first round pick, 2028 second round pick, and a 2029 third round pick. So, in a sense, they're going to be feeling this trade for the next 3 years. But in typical Rams fashion, if you go out and win a Super Bowl, F them picks, they will not care. And Garrett is the reigning defensive player of the year. So, you're getting a guy who is still in his prime. I think it was a very fair trade. And then you throw in Jared Verse on top of that, who in a sense I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to become Myles Garrett, but he's a pretty damn good player through 2 seasons. So you're getting a comparable player who's younger, who's more in line with your rebuild. And I know the Browns are always rebuilding, but at some point it's got to turn around. So you get a guy who's more in line with your time frame here. I think it was a really good pickup for them. And I know a lot of people are knocking, well, the Rams are going to be picking towards the back end of the first round. It's essentially a second. Well, what did you want them to do? Did you want them to make a trade with somebody else to get a better pick and then flip that out? Like, they gave what they had. So I thought it was a pretty solid deal.
And I mean, in reality, you never really know how that first round picks is going to thin out. Matt Stafford's only getting older, and he's their superstar quarterback. If he goes down, or if one of their key offensive pieces goes down, you could be looking at a top 15 first round pick, maybe even less than that, and then you have a chance to grab your own superstar. So, you just never know when you're trading, especially first round picks. I mean, when you're trading second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth, you can you're kind of just like whatever. But first rounder is a good no matter who you take, unless it's a wide receiver named Jalen Reagor.
Yeah,
first rounder? Enough. Question mark.
He was a first rounder.
Okay, thank
Kyle, I'll throw it over to you. Myles Garrett is now a Ram, strengthening arguably the best team in the NFC. What are your thoughts on the move?
Yeah, so I'll break it down by team. So on the Rams side, I think doesn't get much better than this. You get basically probably the best player in the NFL. You can debate semantics with some of the quarterbacks, but at least on the defensive side, he's clearly the best player in the NFL. And so you get him, and all you trade is Jared Verse. So you're basically seeing him with an upgraded player, and then you're also getting nothing else. So you're trading a bunch of stuff to get Myles Garrett. And the only issue I have for the Rams side is now they're basically saying to the young guys, yeah, if you do well here, we're just going to ship you out and get someone better. And also there's reports coming out that basically they're not going to extend any of their young guys this offseason, so no Puka extension, no extension for any of the younger guys on the D-line. So basically, they're selling out hard for this year. They already traded for Trent McDuffie earlier in the offseason, and now they go back and get Myles Garrett as well. So they're basically saying, Stafford, you got one more year, almost, basically one more year, maybe two. We're just going to go all out. And yeah, now I think the defense is the best team, the best unit in the NFL. So we'll see how that goes. And Myles Garrett might break his own record because if you look at the Browns last year, they were always trailing. So teams had to run a lot to just kill clock and keep their lead. So now having the Rams offense supporting Garrett, he's going to get a lot more chances to actually rush the quarterback and get sacks. So he might get 30 sacks. I'm saying he might get 30 sacks. And then for the Browns, I don't like this at all because the Browns are in a perpetual rebuild. So if you're going to trade Myles Garrett, you need like a Herculean haul, like on par with some quarterbacks probably that have been traded recently. And even on the defensive side, you look at Sauce Gardner went for 2 firsts, Quentin Williams went for a first, Micah went for 2 firsts. So I think bare minimum Myles Garrett haul should have been 3 firsts. And yeah, you can say, okay, Jared Verse is worth maybe a first and some change, but you're gonna have to pay him probably next year because he wasn't a first round pick. I don't believe. So then you basically got 1 year of a rookie pass rusher, and then you have to pay him a shitload of money. So I think that might not line up with the Browns' rebuild timeline because the Browns once again rebuild forever. So I think they should have probably just accumulated picks instead of trying to get a young player that can maybe be 30 to 40% of Myles Garrett. So overall, for the Browns side, I really don't like this at all. But the Browns, what they do, so can't expect more.
Yeah, I think to your point about the Browns now having Jared Verse, I think it also gets to a point where I feel like and we see it in the NFL all the time, it's very easy to flip the script 1 year to the next. We see it's like every year a team goes from worst to first in their division. And I'm not saying that's what the Browns are going to do, but if I'm kind of looking at the landscape of the AFC North right now, you have a first-year head coach in Baltimore with, in a sense, question marks what you're going to get out of Lamar moving forward. I think he's still going to be a really good player, but to this point, he has never really materialized and gotten over the hump. The Steelers don't have a quarterback. You have Mike McCarthy, who he's going to field a competitive team, but unless they draft a stud this upcoming season, I don't see Pittsburgh getting better anytime soon. Joe Burrow is always a question mark health-wise. So for the Browns, and it might not be this year by any means, but you have a piece that is really attractive. He's the centerpiece of your defense moving forward. And if they go out and have a somewhat solid season this year and they open up some cap space and go out, it's more attractive to join a defense with Jared Verse on it than, unnamed first round pick. So I think to that point, it gives them a little bit of a selling
Garrett
piece.
still there.
What's that?
Imagine you had Myles Garrett there instead.
Defensive player of the year, record
Which is
holder.
fair, but I think everybody felt like he was going to get traded at some point, right?
Like, then my issue is why not trade him before the draft? Like, I don't know the post June 1st implications because he did just sign that extension, but once again, it all comes back. We may or may not get into this later on, but it always comes back to the Robin Tugs taking down teams, whether it's Deshaun Watson or allegedly maybe another team.
Was it actually after the June 1st? Did they just announce it, but then it didn't go through until after the because that happened before the AJ trade, and the AJ trade was like right around 4:00.
Yeah, so they might have actually like just decided. I think it might have been before 4. So at that point, why the hell would you even trade him now?
No, they announced it prior to 4:00, but it didn't
went through at 4:00. Okay, that makes sense.
I was gonna say, why would you ever do that?
It says the Browns would have taken a $41 million dead cap if they traded him prior to June 1st.
Zoinks.
So that makes a lot of sense. However, after June 1st, the Browns are allowed to spread the cap hit over 2 seasons. In this case, that means they'll take a dead cap hit of $15.5 million in 2026 and about $25.5 million in 2027, which seems like a lot, but with the way the cap jumps every year and the way that other teams have managed to get out of bigger cap hits, it's really not that big of a deal at the end of the day.
Seems like a lot until you think about Russell Wilson's dead money cap hit to the,
90
to the
million
Denver
or whatever.
Broncos.
We made the playoffs both years with the dead cap. So
Myles Garrett current over under regular season sack number is 15.75.
Oh, I'm
And
taking
over.
I'm
It's even
betting it out.
odds. It's even odds for both.
Take a mortgage out, second mortgage, and put it on Myles Garrett over.
I'm putting my kid's college tuition on it. I'm doing
Money.
it.
all right, Mason, I'll throw it over to you. What are your thoughts on the Garrett trade, and how do you think that stacks the Rams up against the rest of the NFC?
I mean, I think a fully healthy Rams team is pretty much just going to run through anybody at this point. I did look it up because I was interested to see they were the favorite before this trade even went through, but now obviously even further so, and the only team to be single-digit odds to win Super Bowl next year. Yeah, I mean, it's just listen. I guess like you can't play this game and you can't general manage a team being scared, but all it takes is one injury, right? You get a Matthew Stafford that goes down, a Puka Nacua, anything can happen. I mean, I don't think they're a lock to win the Super Bowl by any means, but I mean, they're certainly the team that I think should be most confident going into it. I guess the more I thought about this trade, when I first saw the trade, I was like, game over. We might as well simulate to the next season and be done with it. But the more I thought about it, I mean, Jared Verse was a very good player for the Rams, obviously coming off the second year and kind of just projecting up from there. Myles Garrett, obviously, in kind of near the end of his prime, I guess, but still in the prime of his career, probably the best, arguably, player, just position for position in the NFL. So obviously it moves the needle, but giving up a player like Jared Verse, who I think made that much of an impact, I mean, I don't know. It's certainly a jump, but I don't know if it's like otherworldly where it's just like nobody's going to be able to beat the Rams now. I don't think they're going to go undefeated or anything. And on the Browns side of things, I feel like they were kind of just stuck. I kind of agree with Kyle where like I don't love it for them. But I mean, what were you going to do? Just keep – I kind of feel like you had to let Myles Garrett kind of go out and try and win something in his career. I feel like they kind of owed it to him. And also, I just don't feel like Myles Garrett was going to end up doing anything in Cleveland. I think the Browns still need a lot of work to get rebuilt to the point where they're competitive. Obviously, the compensation helps. I also agree having to pay Jared Verse, especially the way these contracts go up every year, probably going to have to pay him a lot of money. I don't know if it's Myles Garrett money, but it seems like all of these guys who like aren't actually like, especially like the wide receivers recently are breaking records, even though they're like who was the guy? Was it the guy on the Panthers who set some record? Or the Colts. Who was the guy on the Colts? And I was gonna like
Pierce. Was it Pierce?
I kind of recognized his name, but I was like, how the hell is this guy breaking the record for receiver? So like, you never know. I mean, Jared Verse could like, you know, I guess he could like move the needle in that sense. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like the Browns were kind of stuck, but I don't know.
I'll say one more thing about Verse.
Yeah.
So actually, thank you for bringing up the extension again. Because Verse is the centerpiece of this trade, he now has all of the leverage when talking about contracts. And basically, you cannot let Verse walk after 2 years because then you look like total idiots. So Verse knows that. He's probably going to get an extra 10, 20% on what he's supposed to get for his market value. Similar to how Montez Sweat, when he got traded to the Bears, got a shitload of extra money just because they literally traded like a second round for him. And you're not just going to let him walk out the building after that. So now they're going to have to overpay for Verse as well, which is why they should have just took picks, because the thing in the box is always better than the car you currently have.
Monty Hall problem.
Well, last thing I'll say on this one too, now that they have the extra pick, they're probably going to be bad again, right? Probably picking within the top 5. Say the Browns land the 3rd pick of the draft and the Rams win the Super Bowl, you're pick 32. You might package 33 and 32 to get up to 1 to take a quarterback, depending on who's there. And this is supposed to be one of the most stacked quarterback classes in a long time. Arch Manning to Cleveland?
Dude, the Manning family would never let that happen.
Yeah, then they'll pull an Eli, and then you got to trade him after you just traded up for one.
Which would be awesome. So
Arch Manning is the next Patriots quarterback.
Our Ram.
Yeah, literally, though.